on to Deani, who slams it home.
One at the right from the left block. Layup good.
Parker drives it through the hole to right. Hunt comes around to score. The Cavs win. Pierman dives into the end zone. Touchdown, Cavaliers. Cavalier Sports Weekly is presented by the Virginia Lottery. The Virginia Lottery, helping Virginia's public schools. And brought to you in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. On this edition of Cavalier Sports Weekly, presented by the Virginia Lottery.
I have a goal to build off of last year and prove that I can do it, to play like that through a whole season. Welcome to Cavalier Sports Weekly. I'm your host, Kevin Ogletree, number 20 on the football team. On today's show, we'll take you inside our training camp and preview our season opener against Southern Cal. But first, let's take a look at a great victory by a great champion.
The Play of the Week is brought to you by SunTrust Mortgage. We make the American dream come true every day.
7 aces against just 2 double faults, and now 2 points away. Make it 1 point away on his 8th ace out wide. Samdev Gavarman now with triple NCAA championship point.
Came out really fired up today, and I knew it was going to be really tough. Leading up to the match, I was so nervous, but once I came into the match, my heart carried me through.
And there it is, serve out wide, and Samdev Gavarman will put his name in the NCAA record books for a long, long time.
We've got 4 great captains on our football team this year, and we'd like to introduce you to each of them. Let's start with linebacker Clint Centum.
Clint Centum is a captain because everybody just really feels that the defense kind of was handed down to him. Him and Chris Long were always just really close, always been roommates and everything like that. And, he had really admired a lot what Chris did and started to model his work ethic and everything around Chris. And so when Chris left, he kind of just stated, I'm handing this down to Clint now to be one of the biggest leaders on defense.
My first impressions of Clint, I didn't like him. I thought he was lazy. I thought he was overrated. I thought he was overweight. I thought a lot of things. But the last 2 years especially, he's really just become dedicated in watching film, in our off-season workouts especially.
Clint's a funny guy. Clint's real personable. You're always going to see him smiling, never really down about too many things. Works hard, gives you everything, and just a cool dude.
We were paired up our first year here during the winter off-season program, and I was like, I can remember a couple of coaches coming up a couple of times trying to encourage him to be a leader, and I was like, you don't want this guy to lead. But now he is. He's definitely the leader on the team and a leader on the defense, and wholeheartedly support that. He's become a good friend of mine as well.
Clint's kind of, a little funny guy, but he's also the same way. When it's time to, step on the field or step into the weight room, he's a guy that you can work out with and talk to and hang out with.
Stay tuned. Virginia game highlights are coming up next.
Welcome back to the show. For our Cavalier game highlight segment, let's go inside our training camp and preview the Trojans.
The Cavalier game highlights are presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Progress has been good. We probably haven't gotten everything done that we would have liked to, but we certainly have made a lot of progress with our team. That certainly is an absolute necessity. The players have been very responsive and have put a lot into it. They've given us all the effort that we could ask out of them. Everybody understands his opportunity is going to come and he's got to be ready. Everybody sees the opportunity to contribute, and it just becomes a mentality that guys look forward to the opportunity individually, and the team looks forward to the opportunity to increase our performance. We certainly need to make some progress, and we're confident that we will. SC is an awesome defensive team. They were second in the country last year in both total defense and scoring defense. So obviously they're not giving up many yards, and they're giving up even less points per game. So anytime a team doesn't give you very many points, obviously that points out what the challenge is, whether you can score enough under any circumstances to beat them. They certainly think it's going to be a great defense. They've got 4 or 5 guys who are reputably going to be first-round draft choices after this season. So that gives us a good idea as to what the talent is. Got great talent at tailback. They're trying to sort out 4 or 5 guys who could be the starter on their team. And Joe McKnight is a Reggie Bush type player. And he can line up in the backfield, out of the backfield, motion out, do all sorts of things. So we're going to have some kind of radar on him to find out wherever he is. One of the things I would say is to make sure that we're well aware of the speed at which the game is going to be played. This is going to be one of the very fastest teams that we've played in quite some time. They play at a very high tempo and high aggressiveness. And so this game's going to move very fast, and we can't be caught at the starting blocks.
There are plenty of reasons to look forward to football Saturdays at Scott Stadium this fall. New for 2008, FanFest debuts outside at the grass area adjacent to the O-Hill Dining Hall beginning 3 hours before kickoff. Admission to the area is free. FanFest will feature live music, food from area vendors, interactive games, a pep rally with the Cavalier Marching Band, cheerleaders, and more. Inflatable games and a televised broadcast of other games around the country will still take place at the indoor FanFest in the gym at the Aquatic and Fitness Center. All fans attending the USC game are asked to wear orange and arrive early. A capacity crowd is expected for Virginia's home opener. Upon entry, the Power of Orange rally towels will be distributed, and be on the lookout for a surprise not to be missed before kickoff. The athletics department is also pleased to introduce Legends Walk in the Pergola Plaza. Legends Walk will honor Virginia's retired numbers and jerseys. The first home game will also include recognition of College Football Hall of Fame inductee Jim Dombrowski. Visit Game Day Central online at virginiasports.com for the latest information on all football game day events at Scott Stadium.
Up next, a great running back, team captain, Cedric Pearman.
Cedric is a good candidate for captain just because of who he is and what he represents. He's a great guy, number one, godly person, always trying to help people, very respectful when he speaks.
Cedric Pearman has one speed, and that is hard, which is often very fast as well. His work ethic is supreme. He's becoming more of a verbal leader, and guys are very much willing to follow him.
Sewell will hand off Cedric Pearman. Pearman trying to get to the outside with the run blitz, and he breaks the tackle, trying to turn it upfield. He dives to the 11. He saw it, and I think he got it.
There's times like when he gets to a point where he wants something or demands something, you'll see a change in said, like his voice raises, but that's what you want out of your captain. Like if somebody's lacking or slacking, like you want somebody to get on them, because the captain's pushing and working hard. He wants the next person to do the same thing.
Everybody knows that Ced's going to give you everything he's got. He's not going to shy away from anything. He's one of the hardest runners every day in practice, but sometimes it's a little bit too much.
He's a humble guy. He doesn't talk as much, but he leads by example. He's the type of guy that comes out here and plays hard every day and does what he needs to do to be successful. So he's just one of those guys that you really appreciate everything he does for us on the field as well as off the field.
One of those guys who came off the bench last year and had a fantastic season was Michael Simpson, and he is your Student Athlete of the Week.
The Student Athlete of the Week is brought to you by the Cavalier Team Shop Online, where every purchase benefits the UVA Athletics Academic Affairs Office.
Last year, the role that they had for me, it didn't work out the way that I wanted it to, or nor did they want it to. And I just kind of fell back. As the games went on, my playing time was cut every game. And then got to a point where I was only playing 1 play, 2 plays a game. And I really wasn't contributing to the team. And then going into the Maryland week, he told me he was going to move me back to running back. And I looked at it, that's my last chance to try to impress the coaches. And I actually got in the game and made a few plays.
we were just smiling at each other, looking at each other like, hey, look at my car, look at Juice, go. I was shocked, but I also knew that what he was capable of doing because, you know, we saw him in practice every day. So I was just very happy for him that he finally got his opportunity.
When I got my chance, I took advantage of it and made plays out there. But at the same time, I look at it coming to the season. I only did it for half a season, and the real season is 12 games, 13 if you go to a bowl. So I look at it, I didn't have a great season because it really wasn't a season.
Michael, end zone, touchdown, left side.
He's got very good vision. Before he became a prominent player, one of the things that was apparent with him just in making the cuts on certain runs, he can see that cut and take it as quick as anybody that we've got.
Usually when the starter gets down, then that sets the team back, and that just slows everything down. But I had Cedric go down and have Michael come in and do just as good. That made us keep our good season up.
Michael, 5-10, 15 broke it, 20, 25, 30, near side 40.
Michael's got good speed. He certainly doesn't have a resume of being a top-notch sprinter. Yeah, that's a long ways to go without somebody catching you.
I'm just looking forward to building off of that this year, and with Cedric coming back, I'm looking for a great 1-2 punch.
This season can be a good year, I believe. I mean, we have the two good backs. We have a great defense, and we know what we have to do now to be good for the season.
I have a goal to build off of last year and prove that I can do it through play like that through a whole season, and it just wasn't half a season, and limited the mistakes that I made last year as far as playing out there, just getting game experience is only going to make me better. I feel as though we have a strong team coming back next year. Linemen are still going to be there, receivers coming back still, quarterback, and everybody's just going to have a lot more game experience, which only betters the team.
You saw what he did on the field, and that's really all that matters most. He's a good guy, so there's no character issues or anything, and he's a winner. On this week's Cavalier Flashback, we take a look at one of the greatest wide receivers in NCAA history, Virginia's own Herman Moore.
Cavalier Flashback is brought to you by the Virginia Lottery. More than $3 billion to K-12 public education since 1999. The Virginia Lottery, helping Virginia's public schools.
It was an era that was magical because I think it was the beginning of an era of expectations of competing at a high level athletically. You know, I look back at a lot of the guys that I played with, like Sean Moore and Terry Kirby and Ray Roberts, Chris Slade, and just a character pool of people that they all had a special gift, not only as people but as athletes. With Sean, it was a great relationship because he grew up in Martinsville, Virginia. I grew up in Danville. And we didn't play one another in high school, but the more connection became part of the Virginia legacy and a part of the Virginia program. It was magical playing Penn State in their stadium, having 2 touchdown grabs. And, you know, they are a program that's rich with championships. And to go and beat them on their home turf was great for us and for the Virginia athletic program. Beating Clemson, it just meant a lot because they were looked upon as being this juggernaut that was almost impossible to beat. But for us, we ended up pulling it out. We ended up having their number quite a few times, and they no longer became that intimidator that they had been long sought as being when I came into the program. I look at the camaraderie, I look at the coaches, I look at the players, I look at the faculty, and it's just a family. It's, you know, I smile because Virginia is just that kind of a school, and it's continued to grow, it's continued to keep and not lose its roots and what it's always stood for, and that's creating great people.
Another one of our captains this year is our tight end, Big Country John Phillips.
John Phillips, Captain Big Country. He's very similar to the other captains, very hardworking. He comes from deep Southwest Virginia, so there's not much out there to do but work hard. And so he's definitely brought that here, and I think he's raised the level of a lot of guys around him.
He's definitely the most vocal captain. Works hard, again plays hard, gives us everything, doesn't put anything before his team, which is what we need.
He's very vocal. He works hard. You never got to question his effort, intensity. You can tell it by just watching him work out and then watching how he speaks to the team.
I think everybody just respects him. He's a gamer. I mean, he makes big plays and everything like that. He's a hard worker, real vocal everywhere. So I think everybody just respects everything that he's about.
John Phillips is a great guy. I mean, he's an energetic guy. I mean, he leads the offense out there. He's the flag carrier for our offense right now. He's just one of those guys who comes out here and sticks his face in the pen every day. He's a vocal guy as well as a great friend. So John Phillips is just one of those guys that you can really depend on day in and day out to come in and get the job done.
Coming up after the break.
Welcome back to Cavalier Sports Weekly. Our men's and women's soccer teams are starting their seasons, and we've got the story for you in our Olympic Sports Spotlight.
The Olympic Sports Spotlight is presented by the Virginia Athletics Foundation.
Kelly Quinn is, as good an athlete as you're ever going to find, So it's nice to have her fully healthy. She did a great job for us. I think the second goal was very important. To get that goal in the last 16 seconds was, it gave us a little bit more of a cushion going into the second half. Whenever you can get a win like this and still have a lot to improve on, I think it's a good sign for a team.
We lost Yannick, obviously, and when you lose a guy, you leading goal scorer like that, it's not the easiest thing in the world to replace. But we feel like with our recruiting efforts, we feel Chris Agorser, we hope that he's going to be a guy who can help us right away with some goals. There's another first-year kid, Brian Ownby, who we have high hopes for. Ross LeBeau, certainly a kid. He's our leading goal scorer, returning leading goal scorer. I think he had 7 or 8 goals. And I'm hoping that Matt Mitchell can bag 7, 8, 10 goals this year. I got to be patient with him. We have some things we got to get done, in particular in the back. We've lost our entire group across the back. The goalkeeping situation we got to try to figure out as well. The pieces are here. I think we have talent, in particular in our young guys.
We're about 6 or 7 days in, and we see a lot of good things and a lot of things we still have to work on, but a lot of promising strengths. Chemistry's been pretty good, and if in 3 days you can get them still laughing and liking each other, that's a good thing. So the chemistry seems to be on target. And then tangible things are the speed. We've definitely added some speed to this to the core and to the front line and to the back line, so we're really happy about that. Yeah, we're still looking to fill that top 6. We need a rotation in that top 6, that we can depend on who's the fittest, who can hang, who gives us the strength off the bat, who we can use in the middle of the game.
I'm excited about the season. I think we have enough players here, especially the core players that have been here. They know the system, they know the way we like to play, our philosophy, those kinds of things. So I think they're in a good position to teach the younger players, and they've been doing a good job of that so far during preseason. We've got some experience, but we also have some good young players in here. And I think the strength of our team hopefully will be getting some goals and creating some chances for ourselves.
In other Cavalier sports action this week,
Cornerback Vic Hall is one of the most versatile players on the team. He is also one of our team captains.
Vic Hall is captain material because I think whatever he does, he always just really tries to do it to the best of his ability. I think that, hands down, he has to be one of the hardest workers on the team. He always just brings an intensity, a focus to every down in practice, everything about the game.
Vic Hall looking downfield, puts it up for Gorham. Gorham is wide open to catch, 15-10 to the 8-yard line.
Vic Hall is the leader on the field and off the field. He's a very relaxed, chill guy, but when it comes to time to put the work in, he's going to lead you.
The fake, Vic Hall runs, Vic Hall, touchdown!
I mean, I tell people all the time, Vic Hall is one of those guys I respect the most on his team. I mean, not only as a football player, but as a man. I think Vic is a stand-up dude. I don't know anybody on his team that doesn't respect Vic, the way he handles himself on and off the field.
My coach had introduced kind of, okay, we want to start using this technique to strip the football. And I can remember Vic, like that day, going out and the first time that opportunity came up in a play, he did it and caused a fumble. In high school, like, all I heard was like Vic Hall, you know, it's like the savior, you know, it's like so very, very talented, to go with that, very coachable and dedicated as well.
Thanks for watching Cavalier Sports Weekly. We'll be back next week with highlights from our home opener against Southern Cal and plenty of other stories and features. But until then, go Hoos!
Cavalier Sports Weekly is presented by the Virginia Lottery. The Virginia Lottery, helping Virginia's public schools. And brought to you in part by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.